You ever sit down to record a rant and you go through the whole tirade and then realize you didn't hit the record button? Yeah, well, what's up out there? Let's talk about Diablo 4. What you are looking at is my video editing software. Now, this is footage from Season 1. We're going to talk about Season 2 here in a second, but I want to show you what my experience with Season 1 was. I played, say, let's call it 6 hours. I'm going to be generous. I only gave 6 hours to Diablo 4 Season 1. And I just found the game excruciatingly boring. I could not stick with it. The more I played, the more I could just feel my teeth clenching, and I just hated every second of it and despised the game. The last thing I ever expected a Diablo game to be was boring. And I couldn't figure out why I felt it was boring, but I knew that something wasn't right. So I went back and I played Diablo 1 for a little bit, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and I even showed it in my first impressions video. Like when you load up Diablo 1, 2, or 3 and you create a new character, you can go load into the game and you're pretty much instantly killing things. So the first problem that I had is it took, 30 minutes to go through all the cinematics and conversation and bullshit that you have to sit through before you can finally kill something. So that was the first problem, and that was in my first impressions video. Well, then I played for a few sessions here and there. I'd go for an hour, maybe 2 on a good day. And I felt like I was spending more time walking around and talking to people and watching cinematics than I was actually in combat and killing things. And we're talking about an action role-playing game. The word action is the very first word in the description of what this style of game is, and I was not having action. So I sat down on this day. This was September 6th. I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday. I was like, you know what? I have a few hours today. I'm going to sit down. I didn't feel like playing Path of Exile. I didn't feel like playing anything else. I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure out why Diablo 4 pisses me off so much. So I recorded 1 hour and 25 minutes. That's this number right here. 1 hour and 25 minutes of gameplay. And this is straight 1 hour and 25 minutes. This cut right here is because I have it set to chop off every 60 minutes. It creates a new video. Otherwise, the videos get too long. So that's why there's a cut in here. Otherwise, this is one long video for 1 hour and 25 minutes. What I did, if you go look at these 3 tracks here, I sat down and spent like an hour cutting this thing apart and looking for how much I spent in combat. And I was very generous with the combat sections. Like I didn't get nitpicky and say, well, I fought something over here and walked for 5 seconds. No, I did a stretch of this is combat and this is walking. So if you look at this, it's almost 50-50 between the cinematics and everything. So the walking or waiting section goes on for 34 minutes. 34 minutes of my day. Let me disable these tracks and I'll just let this play. That is 34 minutes of that right there. Just walk and walk, and there I'm talking to somebody, and then I'd skip the dialogue. Like I didn't even sit and read the dialogue. And I will add, this is not just wandering randomly around. Like I went and picked up a few quests or something here and there, but I was trying to follow the main story quest because you have to go to like Act 4 or something like that before you can get the horse. So I'm trying to get the goddamn horse. And that's all I want to do. Oh, there's level 23. I hit level 26. That's as far as I got because I was just so mind-numbingly bored playing this game. This is it. This is 34 minutes of this. Walking and talking. That's picking a level. Not a good thing. There it is. Walking. That's it. That's all it is. We'll go to this over here. Walking and talking. Walking and talking. That's it. So there's 34. Let me pull these back up here so you can see that. That is 34 minutes of walking with 7 minutes of cinematics. And these are truly cinematics. If you want to see that, it's a skip cutscene right there. So that's 7 minutes of cutscenes. So a grand total of 41 minutes was spent doing nothing productive. Now, I'm not knocking the cinematics, But when you combine the amount of walking in the open world and the cinematics together, it is equal to roughly the 44, like it's 42 minutes of cinematics and walking and 44 minutes of combat. And is this combat? Yes. There you go. There's combat. So like I said, I was generous. I didn't cut out the walking sections. So there's combat. And I even followed a build guide. I started doing Whirlwind at some point because I was doing everything I could to make season 1 or the Diablo 4 experience anything but boring. And even following a guide is just basically pasting something in Notepad. Like if you look at a build guide for any other ARPG, there's complexity to it. You look at the build guide for this, it's like 15 or 30 lines in Notepad. Like it's totally different experience. But anyway, I wanted to share this because this is what pissed me off so much about this game and why I thought it just absolutely sucked and that I really didn't want anything to do with it any further until I heard something about season 2 that was music to my ears. All right, now before you jump in the comments and tell me the Path of Exile has ruined Diablo for me and I can never play it again because Path of Exile is so much different, so much whatever, whether it's better, good, bad, or indifferent. No, because as soon as I got done recording that hour and a half worth of footage, I started playing Diablo 2 from scratch, and I haven't played that game in a couple decades, played through the whole campaign. I've definitely not played it since I bought it on Battle.net. I've played it here and there, for half hour or something, maybe to record some footage for something, but I've not actually sat down and played through the whole campaign for a very long time now. And I sat down there and I played that for a couple hours, no problem. I kept wanting to play more, but I'm playing other games at the moment. So I could have kept going, but I wanted to play the other stuff instead. So Path of Exile's not ruined anything. I am looking forward to Grim Dawn's got an expansion coming, and Last Epoch is going to 1.0, it looks like, in January. So I'm looking forward to that. It's not that Path of Exile's ruined other ARPGs for me. It's that I don't like Diablo 4 specifically, and the campaign. And I have some other issues in general that we're going to talk about here in a second. So let's dive into season 2, but let's briefly touch on one thing that this is another general thing that just bothers me. I don't like that this is a mainline entry in the Diablo franchise. This is a Diablo universe game. It is not a Diablo entry. The first problem is Diablo's not even in a game named Diablo. How do you don't have him or the Primevals or continue the main story in a mainline entry? I don't understand. Beyond me, I think this game should have been called Diablo Sanctuary or just plain Sanctuary, and I think I would have had a lot better time with it, and I would have been a lot more understanding of it and not viewing it as a mainline Diablo entry. Second problem with season 2 specifically is vampires. Why are we fighting vampires in a demon game? Like, we can't get the main demon guys in here. Why are we putting vampires in and werewolves and all this other crap that has nothing to do with it? One creator I saw, one YouTuber I saw doing a video about it mentioned that it might be Halloween themed content. That's cool and all, but that's like a couple of weeks or a month or something like that. That's not a whole season's worth. This just feels odd. It doesn't feel like a mainline entry to the franchise. So let's get that out of the way. Now, I do have some positives about season 2. Number one, the reason that I actually played season 2 was because I saw somebody mention that you could skip the campaign. Now, I knew you could skip the campaign once you'd beaten it. Once you'd beaten the campaign, you were supposed to be able to skip it whenever a season came out. But I think they extended it to this time. And I wasn't sure at the time I saw it, this was before season 2 came out, but they said you could skip the campaign. And I thought, if I can truly skip this campaign, I will play season 2. I may not finish it, but I will play season 2 and give it another shot. And come to find out, I totally just wasn't paying attention to the season 2 release date. So it was like a couple days after it came out. Well, actually, I did see the day because they had to delay the season because they weren't ready for the season. Great job. Keep doing what you do best, Blizzard. So anyway, I did see that, and then I thought, yeah, whatever, I'll wait. And then I realized that you could skip the campaign, and I thought, all right, I'm going to give it a shot. So I patched everything up, and you could skip the campaign. So I can skip that dog shit campaign and not ever have to look at it again. So I did. Moved right on past it. Don't want anything to do with it. So my first positive is that I don't have to go through that god-awful boring campaign. Whoever thinks that's good, I'm glad you like it. I think it's terrible. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's too much time walking around, listening to people babble about shit that I don't care about in an action RPG when I want to go kill stuff. Demons, not vampires or werewolves. I want to kill demons on a horse. Is that too much to ask? So anyway, I love the fact that you can skip the campaign. That is a huge feature. That is a huge quality of life improvement. And where I would have called this a 6 out of 10 game in season 1, it's a 6.5 out of 10 now. They've definitely improved the game. It's definitely better. Leveling seems okay. It felt a little quick in the season 1, early game, but it feels kind of the same or maybe a little better. So I have no complaints there. It looks like they may have unlocked a bunch of waypoints for me. Either that or I don't think it's the ones I unlocked when I played season 1, although it could be. But I don't remember having I didn't get very far. And it seems like I have more throughout the entire open world open. So like I didn't open all those waypoints. I think they've given it to people to just skip the campaign so you can buzz around and you still have to go get unlock other waypoints, but some of them were in there. I also found out you can rebind the controls. It finally dawned on me to get that stupid Q button off of healing. Healing should be on the number keys, not ever on letter keys. And I don't know who made that choice, but good job. You screwed up the basic controls of an ARPG. Awesome. Okay, so that is, and the game looks pretty. I'll give it that. So that's kind of about the end of the positives. Okay, let's dive into my negatives. First and foremost, I think the open world and the dungeons and stuff like that look like they were designed by an ant colony. I think somebody literally rolled a piece of paper over an ant colony and traced around it, and that's what you get. Because everything's got this weird little lane. Like if you play any other ARPG, like Grim Dawn has some really frustrating sections to walk through, but it's more of an open world than Diablo 4's open world is. Diablo 4 feels very one lane kind of thing. Like it feels like it just feels awful to walk through. I don't like it. I don't like pathfinding through it. I did find out through several hours of playing that you can actually turn on like the little GPS thing and it'll lead you to the places, which, okay, that helps a little bit. But I still think the overall open world design, even the dungeons, I think they're terrible. And if you show a picture of a dungeon and all it is some stick lines going around, that's horrible design, dude. Seriously, like it should be more of an oval or an open thing with, you can put stuff in there that you have to walk around. But if you make it feel like I'm walking through a filing cabinet, I still feel like I'm walking through a filing cabinet. It doesn't change. So I don't like the way the open world's designed. I think it takes far too long to get the horse. Now in the campaign, you had to go through Act 3 or something like that. And it was far too long. You're in an open world. The first thing you should have is the damn horse. You shouldn't have to go do a whole bunch of stuff. From what I see, well, I went to try to rent a horse and I couldn't because I'd skipped the campaign. So I thought I was shit out of luck. And, I was looking around and people online were saying, well, just start the campaign over or start the campaign and play it and get the horse. I'm like, dude, if I have to play that campaign, I'm out. I'm so done with Diablo 4 if I have to play that campaign. I hate the campaign. I'm not doing it. And I woke up this morning and I saw, I think IGN was saying that if you hit level 25, they give you a quest that lets you go get the horse. I'm like, cool. I'll continue playing. If I can get the horse and not have to go through that stupid campaign, I'll do it. But it's still, level 25 is not unreasonable, I don't think necessarily, but I still feel like it takes far too long to get the horse. You're in an open world game. Why are we talking about walking an extra 30 seconds to get anywhere, like constantly? Mind-blowing that it takes that long to get the horse. And to piggyback off of that, movement speed for your character is horribly slow. Dodging out of AoEs and stuff like that is awful. And again, piggybacking off of that, the dodge move is terrible. It goes that far and takes 5 seconds to recharge. That is stupid. It needs to either be endless or have a very short recharge. And it needs to go further. It's not far enough. I don't like being staggered or frozen. I don't necessarily mind a staggered or frozen state, but it lasts too long. Everything lasts too long, so all the things that you don't want to last too long, and all the things that you want to last longer don't last very long at all. That's probably the easiest way to sum all these complaints up. Monsters, I think monsters are too spongy. I don't like having to wait for health potions to drop on the ground. You used to be able to buy them. Why can't why don't they have a timer? Why don't they just refresh every so often? I can run away and let it recharge and come back. Like, why do I have to go kill something? I was fighting a boss fight earlier and I ended up dying a couple of times because I just ran out of health potions and I'm running around the boss lair waiting on another potion to drop. And then I get slammed with some stupid spell that I can't move fast enough to dodge, and my dodge is, way on cooldown. No, don't like it. Generating fury, nope, don't like it. I think that's stupid. It's a piss poor design. It's a step backwards, and you can't do anything cool for several seconds. You have to beat on these spongy monsters for a while. Otherwise, I don't have enough fury. And it's not like you even do a basic attack. Like, I think it might be better if you could do a basic attack. So you've got left button, right button. Left button generates the fury. Right button lets you use the fury. Okay. But when you click the right button, it's, well, I can't do that. I don't have enough fury. Okay. Well, how about you do an attack of this one until that one is ready to go and then unleash that? Because I obviously want that. I'm holding the right mouse button down, but you're not doing it. If at least it did that, but then it yells at me and says, I don't have enough fury. And then I go switch buttons and click over here. Meanwhile, I'm taking damage and I'm just not having fun beating on spongy monster with no skills. I don't like it. It's boring. I hate it. Skill regens in general. If you're doing any of your skills off the keyboard, they take 10, 12 seconds. Some of them go fairly quickly. Some of them are limited by the amount of fury you have, which see the previous problem. If you can't generate enough fury, you can't use these. But then there's some that are on a timer and the cooldowns are horribly slow on them. So you can throw your thing out, generate a little bit of fury, and then it's gone in like half a second and you're back sitting there beating on the monster, just slowly generating fury. I think that's horrible. It's boring. I don't like having to walk through 3 screens a dungeon to get anywhere. That's still a problem. But I will say, through all the negative things that I have about this game, I will say that when you can actually generate enough fury and you have everything off a cooldown, that 0.6 seconds of fun that you have is actually kind of fun. But you have to wait 12 seconds to get there, or 15 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is to get to release that 0.6 seconds of fun. So, yeah, while I will say Season 2 is definitely an improvement over Season 1, and I'm actually playing the game again, I don't know that I'm going to finish off the campaign. Well, I'm definitely not finishing the campaign. I shouldn't say that. But I don't know that I'm going to stick with this game long enough to hit level 100 or get very far into it. But they've at least got me back and sort of looking at the game out of kind of a morbid curiosity to see where it's going. And, skipping the campaign was a huge chunk of that. That's 99% of the reason why I'm actually back playing this game. Otherwise, I was just going to write it off, and I was leaving it on my hard drive for the time being. I was close to uninstalling it and moving on. Very close to uninstalling it and moving on because this just wasn't doing it for me. So, to wrap all of this up, I have a lot of negatives about the game, and they are not negatives that I see other people talking about. Probably just me. I couldn't get into the game far enough to even experience like in-game drought. I thought the campaign sucked, and I just couldn't get through it. So I'm back playing it. I'm not pissed off every time I play it. I'm kind of sort of enjoying it. I wouldn't say that I'm happy, but I'm not miserable. So it's like it's kind of neutral at this point. So anyway, that will do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.